With that said, let's get our guest speaker on here. She hails from Southern California. She's a mother of two. She's a lot of fun. And do not put her and Jen Olson in the same room together. It's just, yeah. I've had several times spent some time with her, and I tell you, she's a dynamite lady. She's gonna stop and touch RD on the way to RVP real quick. Without further ado, from Southern California, the one and only, the great Miss Heather Peery.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you.
Everything that you do. I said, wow, he's driving. Way to go. I didn't see that coming. I was like, he's going to get another airline, but he's driving. That's awesome. So thank you so much, Mr. Thomas, for just who you are and for just putting on this call for us so that we can grow. And for Mr. Jabri Clemens, thank you for all your help with videos and everything like that. Thank you, guys. Someone like Mr. Thomas, who's a legend in this industry that we are trying to become professionals at. What a giver to do stuff like this, to make us better, whether we're on his team directly or not. So thank you so much. So you guys, today, first off, I just want to see, I don't know if I can see everyone. Let me change my screen. Did anybody attempt or start to do the homework from last week? Oh, I see Miss Jackie Black. Yes. Anybody else? I'm going to go through, and you can type it in the chat if you did or started. Okay, you know what? I'm good if it was just one. Look at there's Dave Culver. I forgot. No, so okay, so the homework last week, watch the last week's. The homework is to get something that you know that has been holding you back, whether it's fear, whether it's insecurity. Miss T started it. Yes. Something that's sticking out to you that you're like, you know what? I have a problem with fear. I have a problem with limiting thoughts. I have a problem with being insecure. I have a problem when whatever it is. When I go in front of people, I start, limiting beliefs. Get to the root of that. I say go somewhere quiet. Write it down. It's something that just keeps coming up for you, that keeps stopping you. Get to the bottom of that. Go way back to the beginning, way to where you grew up. Where could this have started? And get to the root of that. Okay, so today we are going to talk about embracing the process of change. So the reason why I'm always talking about getting to the root and the process of change, because once we start getting to the core of who we are and getting to those things, that's when our ACN business is going to unlock. So we can be on trainings all the time, all day. I know I was, and sit there scared and still sit there insecure and still sit there with limiting beliefs, even though they're going over the system and telling us what to do, and you're not in your head. Yeah, that makes sense. But then when it's time and you're scared, or when it's time and you're insecure, or when it's time and you have limiting beliefs, it's super difficult to move forward. When you're going to talk to somebody and your head starts going, it's really difficult to move forward in your business. But if you want to be that leader, you want to succeed in ACN, we gotta embrace that process of change. Okay, so today we're going to talk about a word we hear a lot in ACN, but I wanted to dig a little bit more and get to the root of it, is integrity. We hear integrity, that word, all the time. You got to be a person of integrity. You got to be integrity. ACN people, we say integrity. We throw it out, and I thought, do we really know what integrity is, though? I mean, that's a nice word, but like, how does it apply in regular everyday life? Not just ACN, but like in our regular life. So we're going to start with this 2-minute cartoon. It was perfect because it was 2 minutes, but ignore if the voices are annoying to you, but it is a cartoon. And we're going to talk about it. Okay, so we're going to start with this 2-minute cartoon, and then we will talk.
Lee, are you excited for the season finale?
Kylie, you know I am, but I don't know what to do.
What are you talking about, Lee? You and Frankie have been hooked on this show all season, and it's about to end. You should be excited.
That is not it, Kylie.
Okay, now I'm confused. What are you talking about, Lee?
Frankie just let me know he got in trouble for not doing his chores. so now we can't watch the season finale together.
Well, that it's bad news for Frankie.
No, it's bad news for me too. When he told me that he couldn't watch the season finale until he was off punishment, he made me promise that I wouldn't watch it until we watched it together.
Well, you guys are like twins and can't do anything without each other.
I know. That is why I told him I would wait until we saw it together, but now I'm having second thoughts. I really want to see the new episode, and I'm thinking about watching it and just telling him I didn't watch it so he wouldn't be upset with me.
And let's say you go with that plan.
I would just watch the show finale tonight and act like I never saw it when we watch it together.
Can we talk about integrity in basketball camp like last week?
Not the integrity speech from Mr. Haynes.
Yes, the integrity speech from Mr. Haynes. I know you remember what he said because he was looking right at you.
You have to do the right thing even when nobody is looking.
I thought you were listening. So if you go behind your friend's back and do something you said you would not do, what does that say about your integrity?
That I'm not being a good friend or leader by going back on my word behind his back.
That sounds about right. Where you went wrong was not telling Frankie how you felt. I mean, if you really wanted to watch the show, you should have been honest with him.
Yeah, I get it, Kylie. I'm going to keep my promise doing the right thing for the right reason, even when no one is looking.
So I know that's kind of funny because it's like, what? This is like a kid cartoon, but did you, and the voices and off punishment, like we're not on punishment and stuff like that. But notice that that was a very regular situation, right? And I want to point out that times of integrity, when you're faced with a choice, it comes in very regular moments. You're not on a stage, you're not, a CEO of a company, I mean, things come there too, but I'm just saying like that. This was a situation. How many of you have been in just a very regular situation like that? Like you said you're going to do something with somebody and now you're conflicted like this guy. We're supposed to watch the show together and I told him we would, but then did you hear him say, when they said, oh no, he's on punishment, and they're like, oh, that's bad for him. And then what do we do? Well, it's bad for me. We go to us, right? It's all about us. Oh, well, really? He didn't even comment. Oh, yeah, I feel bad for him. He's on punishment. Man, I wonder what he did. Man, I feel bad for him. Now he can't do A, B, and C. We didn't talk about the other person. We talked about us. Oh, it's bad for me. Now I can't watch the show. Now I have to wait. Now right? So it was really interesting because now he was conflicted with saying something that he said he was going to do with his friend, just as little. We say it's little, but these are the things that add up, right? Little things add up. I said I was going to watch this show with him, and then you start thinking, well, maybe I'll just do it. Like, it's not a big deal. It's TV. What's the big deal? Is TV valuable? We start, thinking like that. I'll just watch it and tell him that I didn't, and he'll never know. It'll be fine. And we'll still be friends. And it's not like, it's just a little lie. It doesn't hurt anything. It's TV. But that kind of thinking, when you do that outside life, when we do that with just regular things in our life, that means it comes into all things in our life, right? So even in our ACN business. So think of just those little things. So that's what I was starting with, is how many of us have been in a situation just so regular like that where we had to make that choice. Or maybe you're a person who's not conflicted at all and you just choose you all day, like it's no big deal. That's something to examine too. If it's just something that you're not even conflicted with, you should probably examine that, okay? So how many of us actually, though, live in integrity outside of these calls and outside of ACN and what we do in our regular everyday life? We plug into these calls and we hear all these great things and we think this is for the world of ACN. When I do my ACN business, like I got to make sure I'm on the up and up, like Mr. Al Thomas is watching or my coach is watching, like I got to do it this way. But I'm here to talk about outside of ACN, because what we do everywhere, right? We want to be consistent everywhere so that it becomes a part of us. It just becomes natural. So I title this Embrace the Process of Change, because it takes some internal growth and change to become that person of integrity. So just embrace where you're at right now. I'm going to embrace where I'm at right now. Like, we don't need to beat ourselves up because we struggle with this or we're not where we need to be right now. Just embrace where you are right now and just accept the fact for ACN to move forward. Like, it's going to take some work. It's going to take some change. So we're saying, okay, integrity. Okay, what do you mean? What do you mean? ACN people always talk about integrity. So have you guys ever heard anyone talk about a building that was, it was started to collapse, or maybe it did collapse and they're like, what happened? How did it collapse? And then they'll say, this is a phrase you might have heard people say, they'll say the integrity of the structure wasn't enough to hold up the building. And they go, oh, okay. So if a building collapsed, they would go and investigate and look in how the building was built and go see what happened right from the start. So what they'll find when a building collapses, they may find when they started building the structure, they may find where shortcuts were made. Now apply this, to your life. They might find where corners were cut when you were building the building. They may find somebody didn't take the time over here to fill something in for the building. Or, maybe when someone was working on the job, maybe somebody, the supervisor asked, did you finish that? And someone lied and said they did finish this part, but they didn't complete the part. And there's not only one person working on that building, right? So if every person working on that building is like, no big deal. I don't really need to fill that all the way in. And then the next person goes, they'll just do this real quick. So all of that adds up, right? So if that whole crew, everyone did that one time, that's what caused the structure of the building to fall. So integrity, do what you say you're going to do. We hear that so much that we're like, yeah. Just like that cartoon, not the integrity speech again. But it's so important. Do what you say you're going to do. If you say, let's put it in normal terms. If you say, yeah, I'll see you at the party. Yeah, I'm going to be there. I'll be there. And then you don't show up. But you might go, well, big deal. That's just a party. Like, I didn't show up. Like, I had things to do. But then it starts becoming, yeah, I'll see you there. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you at the coffee shop. I'll be there. And then you're not there again. And it starts becoming who you are, right? Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there at 10:15. You got it. 10:15, I'll be there. 10:15 passes. It's 10:30. And now it's 10:45. Oh, it's okay. You see where we're going here? So that means when you say you give your word, you're sure you're going to be there, like, we have to follow through. I'm not saying like I have this perfect, it's for me too, but we got to follow through because we all say we want to be leaders here. It counts in those little things too, outside of this call, because then when you're the leader, do we have to be on time somewhere as leaders? Yeah. We have in-person events, don't we, where we lead our team. And then what we do in regular everyday life is going to come out there too. That is regular everyday life, right? When we're in-person events, what are we doing? We're meeting up somewhere to be on time. We're going to go get our seats. Well, now we're going to go to eat. Well, those are regular things, right? We're going to work together while we're there. Okay. So another thing, if you say you're going to help, let's say you sign up for a time slot to help with something. Yeah, I could do that. Do you have the integrity to actually show up at that time slot that you said you were going to help at? Oh, I forgot I had this thing. Well, why didn't we look at our calendar before we said we would do it? Now I'm talking to me. I had to learn this too. I wasn't always, like that. I had to get coached and learn and stumble through this. Remember, I can't teach on anything that I haven't done the work to get better at or do. So before we go, yeah, I want to do that. And then we go, oh no, I forgot. Well, now look what's happened. Now you're becoming undependable. Oh, they said they're going to be here. I really needed that time slot filled. Now they're short. Now they don't have anyone. Do you see how this, the integrity affects not just you, it affects the other people. They were depending on you. They planned on things. They were like, yes, I have this many people for the crew to get this certain thing done, which keeps us on the timeline for this. And it was like really appreciative. And then you don't show up because you had something. Okay. So if, if the time thing, which was a thing for me, and I still fight for that, if the time thing is an issue for you, start 2 hours ahead if you have to. Don't squeeze in one more thing if it's going to make you late, because I had to learn when we're late, we're really communicating, my time is more important than yours. And at first I didn't understand that, but it's like, it is, right? If they showed up on time or they were early, it's like, they can wait. You're not saying that, but we show up like no big deal. Like, oh, sorry, I just had to do this, sorry, I'm late. And then we go, oh, it's okay. And so we keep letting that person be okay with it, right? I don't want to communicate to somebody that my time is more important. Who am I? Like, I'm busy, you're busy. So if you want to show people that you care about them, show up early, right? That's how you can communicate that. People really appreciate it. But we kind of lose this in everyday life because it's so accepted. But then when we come into ACN and we see now Thomas, wow, we see any SVP that you're like, wow, Mr. Greg Provenzano, do you know what sticks out about them is this kind of stuff. The integrity. Whoa, the whole time they weren't distracted. They're just like looking at me when we're talking. They're not checking their phone. They're just focused. And you're wondering, what is so different about them? Integrity. Wow. Did you see, like, do you ever notice at an in-person event when you watch the co-founders, I've watched them and they put a video on the screen and you see them all like with their arms crossed like this, like they're standing and their arms are crossed and they're all facing the screen and they're all watching and nobody's talking to each other. Their attention is on the screen. We're doing this right now. I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. That's so great. Like a discipline, right? Or, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to be here. And then they do it. And we go, whoa. But then everyday life, I'm sure they're showing up at 10:15 at the coffee shop or whoever they're meeting for breakfast, or, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So, and that, I'm going on my notes here. Oh, story time. So I had a leader when I first started a ways back, which really taught, it spoke volumes, where this is where integrity is the issue. So, as leaders, it doesn't matter if you're an ETL, RC, you're a leader. People are following you, they're watching you, right? You've been in longer than them, they're gonna look to you for things. So I had a leader who was in the RD position at the time, and then I think I was a ETL, and it was an in-person event, and it's like, okay, Heather, can you make sure you go get seats for us? Get me and this is like way back in the day where you get up like super early at the stadium and you go there and you save seats. Get seats for us. We need, like she's ordering food. Go get us 10, save us 10 seats. And I'm like, okay, because I wanted to do that anyway. So I was like, I'm going to be there because I want to be there early. So you get up super early in the morning and it's dark. And, ladies, we don't get ready like super quick. So what do you have to do? You got to get all your stuff. You got to get a bit of a bag, put your shoes in there because I'm not walking in my heels there. I'll change when I get inside. I'm going to bring my jackets because it's cold outside. I'm going to bring my makeup because to get ready fast and get out there in line, I got to get ready in line. Okay. I'm going to bring everything with me for the whole day. Snacks, all this stuff. Save the seats. Okay, save the seats. And I'm expecting, since she's the leader, that she's going to eventually join me in line, right? Well, I'm in line. And right before we're about maybe, to get in, this person shows up fully dressed, fully ready, with coffee in the hand. I wasn't expecting anything, but my husband made a point, and nothing for you. I was like, oh yeah, nothing for me. Coffee in hand, Starbucks, and rolling up and getting in line. And a leader. And then has the audacity to be full of stuff and say, oh, can you hold this? Yeah, I'll hold that. But think about it. Oh, it's just Heather. Be careful. You want to be a leader. Be careful. That's not what she said, but what is she communicating? She's got it. It's fine. I expect this. What does that say to me? Oh, you're a leader. Are you going to do what it takes to sacrifice and to do things? I'm not sure, because this was ongoing and I never saw that person in line and do what they needed to do. So I wanted seats. I wanted to be there, so I would do it. But gotta leave it here. It happens, right? So it's like, so be careful, as you might think, oh, I would never do that. I'll come, but be careful when you start to get comfortable and you're a leader and you got a team and things are going good, that you're not forgetting there's people there. There's a person there, right? That you're always teaching when you're in life. You're always teaching. So that's for our leaders, and you're all leaders on the call. So look out for that. It's so much more, right? Like they always say, it's so much more than the pin. It's so much more than the position. Yeah, it really is. So, so when you go to work, when you tell your boss, then they say, did you finish that? Yeah, I finished it. Did you really? Or did you really just not want to take the extra few minutes it took to do it right, get it done? Or did you just want to go home? And that's why you said, yeah, that's fine. So how can this fill in and infiltrate into our business? Well, when they tell us those rules and those things for like energy customers, well, it really says, you're not supposed to, I'm not supposed to be the one to fill out, the energy portion, but, I'll just do it. Now, imagine you are a regional vice president, platinum, and you got a whole team of people doing that and thinking like that. I know I'm not supposed to this, but it happens. There's people that get deactivated all the time for this little thing, integrity, or, oh, it's just, okay. So it all matters. The integrity all matters, because if you want to lead a team, how can they build that trust with you as a leader if you're constantly not saying what you're gonna do, not being where you say you're gonna be at, and not following through? How is your team going to trust you and know that you really have their back? Because they kind of like see, oh, it's not really adding up. They do kind of lie, you either lie or you don't, right? Well, they do kind of lie, and they don't really show up. I mean, how are they going to follow us, right? So it all matters. So if you say you care about people, think of an in-person event. Let's say you say, I care about people. I really do. I just love people. I care about them. So think about in-person events. So when you go to those in-person events, are you only trying to talk to RVPs and SVPs or the leaders, or do you talk to everyone? Think about it. You just try to get next to them, or are you talking with everybody? Because everyone matters, right? And it's so funny. I'm like thinking in my head, maybe it's just like culture, society. It's so sad, but every time I'm talking, I hear like, oh, give me a break. Oh gosh. Like the girl in the cartoon, she almost looks like she's the like the party killer, right? Giving the integrity speech. So if you say you care about people, are you giving actual time to help people on your team? Do you make yourself available to help? I'm not saying, give your time just to anyone and everyone and let them take your time away, but like when it's time to help someone on your team, do you really want to help them? Or is it kind of last on your list? Or is it kind of annoying when you think about it in your mind, like, gotta help them? It's just something to look at, something, to examine, because to make it here in ACN, we got to be great. So that doesn't mean, don't think, oh, well, I'm not great. No, to make it here, you really got to be great, because if we stick to this plan, and the plan is, we stick to the plan of changing and growing personally, personal growth, reading or listening. If you do Audible, that's what I do, and allow hard coaching in your life, and then getting to the root of your issues, like we've talked about before, getting to the root of that fear, getting to the root of limiting beliefs, whatever it is, getting to the root of that, the negative thinking, we will become great when we stick to that plan. I mean, it's a really simple concept, right? But it's so, so powerful, and it shows. And we all notice it too. Without this conversation, we notice things in people all the time when they're not saying what they're going to do and they're not following through. And it's important to us, but we just, for whatever reason, we don't really make the connection of just how important this is. You know, this should really be on our list if, you know, we're looking for someone to hire, or if we're looking for someone to help us out. Integrity, you know, that should be like on the list of, you know, being hired, you know, instead of, and there's nothing wrong with college, but instead of like, they got to have that degree, they got to have their master's. Well, that's great, but like, are they trustworthy? When they're at work, am I going to be able to, I mean, just trust them? Are they going to, you know, there's so much that happens at work, right? Can I trust them to actually tell the truth when they're at work, or to do those integral things that when no one's looking, they're still going to do the right thing, right? So take care. So like I said in the beginning, getting to the core of who you are, that unlocks our ACN business. So unlock those things that you've been pushing way down, you know, unlock them, that memory, that thing that made you feel less than, you know, that person. Unlock those memories, unlock that thing, and deal with it, you know, heal from it, and then move forward from it. Just unlock it. This is the stuff it takes to become the leader. We have to. There's no way around it. So just embrace that process of change. Even doing stuff like this, integrity. Start somewhere. If you usually, you know, a lot of things can be cleared up, like that cartoon. She's like, well, if you would have been honest with them and just told them how you feel, that you really just wanted to watch the show, a lot of things can be cleared up like that. But instead we want to like tell the little lie real quick and like avoid it, and then it just makes more complicated, right? It really doesn't need to be that complicated. It really doesn't. So I want to end with this video from John Maxwell, just to wrap it up, and then we'll be done.
I heard the story of a huge man who stepped on a scale that was outside a building. He didn't know that the scale was broken, so he dropped the coin into the slot so that he could find out what his weight was. But because the scale was broken, the indicator on the scale bounced its way up and then stopped at 75 pounds. Now, this guy was a lot bigger than 75 pounds, and he did this. This little boy and his mother were walking by the sidewalk, and they were right behind him, and the boy saw that scale set at 75 pounds, and he stopped, and he looked at the man, looked at the scale, looked back at the man. He's trying to figure out why he only weighed 75 pounds, and finally looked at his mom and said, look, Mom, he said, that man is hollow. Well, I know a lot of people, they're hollow in their life. It's because they lack integrity. Because what I'm going to talk to you now about is inside stuff. The inside, when it's right, makes the outside right. When the inside is beautiful, the outside becomes beautiful. As a person thinks within themselves, within their heart, that's what they become. So let me share with you 5 insights on integrity. First of all, integrity is more than talk. George E. Valiant said, behavior, not words, predicts the future and reflects the past. I remember one time I was in a discussion with a friend, and he basically says, your talk talks and your walk talks, but your walk talks more than your talk talks. And what Randy was sharing with me that day was just very true, that we can say things with our mouth, but what we do, our actions, weigh much heavier and much more important than just what we say. I tell leaders all the time that when they're new to people, their words count very much. But the longer people know you, the less your words matter, and the more your actions, your behavior matters. Now, integrity is that my behavior, what I do, and what I say, they work together. They match. When you have that, you have integrity. The second thought I want to give you is the fact that talent is a gift, but integrity, that's a choice. And we get to choose 3 things that truly make a difference in our life: our faith, our attitude, and our character. And I've often said, isn't it amazing, the things that matter most, we really get to choose. And the character that you have, the integrity that I have today, is a matter of choices made, not once, but made continual. In fact, your character, my character, is a result of many choices made, many decisions that are made within our life. Number 3, integrity is earned on difficult ground. In other words, if you're going to be a person of character and integrity, it's an uphill battle all the time. Helen Keller said, character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experiences of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, the vision be cleared, and ambition inspired, and your success achieved. In other words, you've got to work and battle every day for the character and integrity of your heart and your life. Number 4, integrity brings lasting success with people. You see, what I've discovered is this, that when I'm a person of character, it allows me to live a consistency in my life that's predictable by others, that they begin to depend upon, that gives them a sense of security within their life. And so let me just share with you a few practical ways on how to treat people with personal integrity. First of all, just simply take responsibility for your actions. When you're wrong, when I'm wrong, I'm sorry. And by the way, if you did something wrong, just don't say sorry. When people come and say sorry, I kind of thought, now who's sorry? Are you sorry? Is Joe over there sorry? Who's sorry? Put the word I'm sorry. I was wrong. I did it. There's something beautiful and something strong about saying, I'm the one that did the wrong thing. 2, admit when you're wrong and ask forgiveness. Not only do I look at a person and say, hey, I messed this up. Can you forgive me? Will you forgive me? Now, what I learned about forgiveness is not only do I need to be forgiven because I treated somebody wrongly, they need to forgive me because they're going to need to be forgiven in their life. The person that doesn't forgive quickly really doesn't see themselves realistically, because you and I constantly need to be forgiven. And so admit it and when you're wrong and ask forgiveness. And if you're the person being wronged, just forgive quickly, because there's only a matter of time until you'll have to ask the same thing. The third thing is just to treat people better than they treat you. It's the golden rule. It's the rule that basically says treat others as you would want to be treated yourself. And so therefore, in every relationship, you just basically turn the relationship around and say, okay, the shoe's on the other foot. How would I want to be treated in this situation? How would I want them to relate and connect with me? Number 4, I would encourage you to help people who can't help you. I have found that one of the greatest ways to strengthen my character is to do things for people who either will not have a chance to do things for me because I'm just passing by, or maybe don't have the giftedness to give to me to the degree that I've given to them. Just help people who can't help you. No strings attached. It allows you to work that character muscle and understand that we're here to be givers, to be lovers, to be our brother's keeper and help. And then finally, keep your promises, even when it hurts. I've had to sometimes just do things because I promised them when I realized that I should have never promised them. It was a stupid thing to say. It was a stupid thing to do, but follow through on your promises. I've defined success in this way. Those who know you the best love and respect you the most. I love that. There's something wrong with me when the people who know me the best don't love and respect me, and people who hardly know me at all just think I'm wonderful. There's something wrong with that picture. Those who are the closest to you, they're the ones who ought to love and respect you the most. And when that can happen, you know that you're living a good life of character and integrity. Number 5, honesty is essential if you're going to lead other people successfully. James Kouzes and Barry Posner are two of my favorite people. They wrote a book called The Leadership Challenge, and they spent 25 years surveying 75,000 people about leadership and the work environment in every kind of organization around the world. And here's what they found. In almost every survey conducted, honesty has been selected more often than any other leadership characteristic. And from the first time we conducted our studies, honesty has been at the top of the list. Here's what I've always said about integrity and honesty. It won't make you a great leader, but it will cause you to fall when you lack it in your leadership. I would encourage you to do something that I have found as a practice, and I want to share with you with this in closing. I call it walk between the lines. You see, as I walk daily, let's say to my right is my success when I'm at my best, and to my left is my failure when I'm at my worst. And there are days when I'm on my right line and I'm successful. There are the days when I'm on my failure line and I'm just really at my worst. I say basically, walk between the lines. That's what integrity is. You're not perfect, but you're staying in the middle. You see, if I get over on the success line and I stay there, I'll begin to become arrogant. People see me all the time on that line because I'm a public figure and I'm out speaking or they're reading my books. So they see the very best of me and they're going to think more highly of me than they should because I'm human. I want them to see me there all the time, but I don't live there all the time. Trust me. And then there's that left line, that failure line. There are days when I don't want anybody to see me. I'm sure in your life, as it has been in my life, there are some times I've done some things and I've had some days I want no one to know about. I'm ashamed. I could have and should have done better. You see, if I live over here in the failure area, I'll be so discouraged I'll never get up to the next day to fulfill my desire to add value to people. And if I live over on the success line, I'll be untouchable, and all I want is a bunch of fans to applaud me. That's not a realistic life. But the middle works. The middle is where integrity is. I walk the middle saying I've had some failures and I've had some successes. I'll have some more successes. I'll have some more failures. It's okay. This is who I am, and I'm trying to stay kind of in the middle. You see, we all want integrity in our leaders, and in our co-workers, and our families, but we need to first demonstrate it in ourselves and do what we would desire from others to do also.
Isn't that great? That is so great. I love that. So is it lack of honesty will cause you to fail if you don't have it? So teach integrity to your teams, teach it to your children, teach it. It will enhance your life so much. I'm going to just wrap up with that because he said everything and said it best. So how this can apply to your life, whatever you struggle with today, when you go out on the weekend and the week, if there's something that you would usually cover up or not be all the way truthful about, choose to be honest about it. Take responsibility. Just right? If you kind of would not say a little this or not really say all the way how much you pay on your taxes, be honest about it. Do it. So with that, Mr. Thomas, I'm going to hand it back to you. Thank you, everyone, for your time and for being open to listening to anything I have to say. And we appreciate you all. Have a great weekend, you guys.